Wendy and Joan and I are going to do a little channeling and light language, so I hope you all enjoy. So I will begin with a little light language. So let's see who comes through. Tia, so kitia hiukuta tia hiu ya sikatia ko hia ya siku ha sakato ya sukuto ya ituko. We are your Lemurian brothers and sisters. Ko ya hai tuko ya hia tutu, your soul family. Sikata tutu kia. Yes, but hai tuko ha hi tuko hia kia hu. Ha sia kia ho ya tikia ituko ya hi. We embrace you with our love. Sukota ya ti. Ha sikotai hiki o hia hi siko hia hia suko hia hukia hitia hi tukoya hi hia sukoya hia sukoya expanding your awareness of our presence sukoto ha zia kokia hia hi tukoya hia ho ha zia kohaya hi tukoya hi and your histories with us sukoto ha sikatia o kia yetetitia o kia tutu ha zia koya hi sukoya hi Hia sukoya hia sukoya your deep connection with Gaia, sukoya and with us. Sukotutu ya hikaya hia tu hasia I ko hia hia sukoto ya hituko hasikaya tu ya hia sikia hi ya sikotaya ya sikoya hi ho sikaya ho hia titia ho hasia hi tukoya hia hi Hio sukoya, your ancient gifts are beginning to express themselves. Sukoya hia sukoya hia sukoya hia ho hasaka hia kotaya hia sukoya hia as you integrate the light codes from Mount Shasta. Sukoya hia ituko hasikaya hia skitayo ho hasikaya ho hia tia ko hikia ho sakahaya to hia skaya. These are meant to be shared with the world. Sakaya huya sikia in your travels. Koto sakahaya yuko sikahio kia sikuya sakaya expanding the love on the planet. Sukoto hi tia yuko siaya kia hia hukuya sikia hu sakaya hu totohia yetihaya tu siako yetihi kia hiu ho sikia ho hikia ho sikaya yaskiya sikutoya Suko, you are beautiful as you stand in your truth. Sakaya to Sikia within the power of your soul. Sikotaya hia ku hitiai hia sikotaya and shining your light. Sikoto hikia utia tui tia ketia uia itia o sakaya hu hiki ho sakataya tu hasia huia hitia hukaya tia hia sikoya hikuya balancing the divine feminine masculine on the planet who sikaya huia yes kia within your soul. Sukotai hia hiko, ha sia kotai hikia ho, hia siku, ha sikia ho, te titia ukia, yatia oko, ha sikia, hia sikia. This is assisting Gaia greatly and your ancestors. Teotsukaya hia ho hia throughout the galaxies. Toto hia, ha sika ho, yatia hoko, hia sikia. We all feel you. We all connect with you. We all love you. Suko hia. Hasikia hutu ya hikia hutu to ya hia hu hasaka hi hu ya ti hia hu ya ti 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 ya uko hasaka haya hu ya hia to hu ya ti 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 ya Hosikia ya hitu hiti ya yakuto hasikia tu ya tikia hosai hoko ya titia I hasikaya I be in your joy, be in your bliss. Kuitia hi Hiasikayai, be centered within your heart. Sukoto haikia itukoyai, and we will meet you there. Sukoto haihiaku tititiaku. Hasiako kia yasikitia ukiai. Hiasikoyai sikoyai. We send you our blessings and support. Sukotai tu hasiako tiakia utoyatia yisikitotoya yitia. Sukotoya. Blessings.
Blessings. Thank you.
때문에 수만하다 알람만시스 테시스 수스나사샤 아하 분헤시 일나마사나 아마나세 일마나 케시 ulama katetunat namasti kula inetis.
Beautiful. Thank you.
What
Ooh, I
was
felt
that? How's yours?
I kept thinking it reminded me of when David and I do like Egyptian, like that Egyptian connection with light language. It was feeling that way to me. And I was getting little zaps going out of my right foot, which usually knowledge comes in left side and goes like clearing stuff goes out right side. So I'm very like in tune with like the energy, how that happens. So whatever you did, like almost as soon as you started speaking, poof, right out my right big toe. So thank you. So it was healing whatever it was that you were saying and sharing with us.
My back is like hot.
Is it hot? Yeah.
Mm.
Actually,
Yeah.
I could feel energy moving in my back too. I tend to hold a lot of it on my back.
It's like
shouldering the burdens of the world or something like that is like the words that go into that, like when you're holding stuff. It's like what?
There's a hot like going up to my head, like it's probably the energy. So like, and then my heart was like, and then I was feel like floating. So, what am I saying?
That's the ego saying, what am I saying? When you, so, I mean, Sue and I were just like, literally like just both there a few months ahead of that with where you're at. And because as you're letting more and more of the light language come through, when you start just trusting it, that, okay, well, I'm giving a message, it's there with the words. And then you just have to think that it's coming into your mind as like a packet of information. And then you can like unpack it like little bits at a time. Or like me, I tend to hold all of it and then all of it comes out after I unpack it all together at once. So, so you just have to wait and see like how it wants to show itself to you. But I think having that information ahead of time will help. And anybody else who's doing light language, the same thing, like it'll help them like understand that when they stop trying to like, oh, that sounds like today. I even heard it for my ego for a minute. I said something and it sounded like a Spanish word that I'm familiar with. And I was like, oh, I'm just speaking Spanish. And then I was like, well, hang on a second. Language came from our galactic brothers and sisters in the stars, right? So if it came from there and they're the ones that helped create Earth and created our DNA back in the way back when, with a mixture of different beings with their DNA to create human beings and other life forms that were on planet Earth, that would make sense that we sometimes when we're speaking in our light language, it's going to sound like, oh, that's a word I know, or that sounds like I just said two, or I sound like I said ha, or whatever it happens to be. So, but yeah, that was a beautiful share. And sometimes I'll just like feel the energy of the message and I'll just kind of be like, oh, the gist of it is. And other times I'll be like, oh, well, what you were saying was this, this, and this. So, so that'll come to me too. Susan, did you get anything from like the feeling of what she expressed?
Not any specific words. But yeah, just the general heart energy coming through is what I felt. Just, yeah, the warmth of the heart is, and like, when I get translation for my light language, it comes in bits and pieces. So I'll say a little bit and then I'll get the words, the translation in my head, and then I'll say that. And so it kind of comes in bits and pieces for me instead of like a download at the end. But but I know that it wasn't until I started intending to receive a translation that it started showing up for me. So
right.
if I'm sure if I set the intention to get like more of a fuller packet, like a full translation, that I would think it would start, coming through that way. So it's all about intention and what you open yourself up to allow yourself to receive. So, but yeah, the more you just are comfortable with the messages coming through you, and and they've always been loving. I know for me, the messages that come through, the energy is wonderful, and so the more you become comfortable in allowing it and just let it flow through you when you feel it come up and wanting to come out. So but yeah, it took about, I'd say, 6 months or more to really, like when I started speaking light language in 2020, for it to really become just like, and like you don't even think about it anymore. It just, you can tell when it comes up, and you just let yourself speak it, and set intention to connect to specific beings like you do with channeling. It's just, to me, it seems it's just like another form of channeling messages, just in another, more of a vibrational way, so through the light language. But
That's beautiful. Thank you.
yeah.
I don't know. That's a new one for me. I don't know. It's just let it throw through the words. I said, what is this word coming out?
So I just saw like a couple of women's faces, and the last one I just saw was like almost like a what do they call that? The triangle shaped face, but real pretty. Kind of reminded me of like Elizabeth Taylor, like when she was young, and then her hair was like black and white and black, and it was up high, and the one side was like longer than the other. And so I think it's just like spirit that's around us, that's helping us to kind of be like, okay, yeah, just like this knowledge that we're here with you. And as you guys know, I do like these deep breaths. Yawning like I'm doing. Oh gosh, of course. That's them letting me know that like they're integrating with me, like their spirit is no longer just out here standing on the side. That's like when it integrates with me. And then also they use that for me to like clear stuff too a lot of times. But I just went through like that huge clearing in Mount Shasta. So, and I'm talking with my eyes closed because I'm channeling a little bit of this information. I did so much clearing from Mount Shasta and then slept for almost 2 days when we got back. And now it's like, it's starting to like unpack, like the information and the codes that I'm starting to share are starting to unpack. And so being in, highest and greatest joy has been like incredible and amazing for my own self. But I'm going to go ahead and do some light language, and then I've asked my ego to kind of sit across from me to not do the whole judgy thing, or hey, what are you saying over there? who's that? They always want to ask that. So we'll see who comes through. And then of course, before we started, we grounded and we set our intentions for connecting to the heart and to source and Gaia, and then to beings who are of the highest frequency, the most pure light, and then intending for our channeling to come through with the purest and truest messages that can be shared so that any others who are listening can also experience and know that we're speaking our truth. Ana okuira ra tahina ra ko ni tukuira pa tahina ra ko ra ko to huira na pa ka ira tahinyu to kohora I am benra kata huira ra pa ira tukuira tahinia ka pa to spokesperson for the Raw Collective. Pa ira ta huira ni ki ta katuria mata you to kuira ra ni to kuira na ra ina ka ira po to kira na ra ta. The power comes from the central sun. From ancient wisdom. From many lives having been lived. From being the creator of many worlds. From placing the stars in many galaxies. From lighting them up from my own light within. although I refer to myself as an individual, I'm so tied to the collective, similar to you as being a human being tied to your collective. I give you a blessing today. Anyera to oro to huira narata irata it kuira niarata o shigria mata kayana no to ina takayana rata o pohu niarata irata kayanara. This blessing is for you, those of you who watch, those of you who open your hearts and listen for the truth of the message. The light comes from above. The light comes from within. The light comes from around. All things are light. You are light. The things around you are light. The beings around you are light. We are asking you to connect into your light, to recognize the light of everyone and everything else around you as we're beginning to more fully step into the ascension and bringing you up to those next levels of frequency. It is important for you at this time to find the light within yourself, beam it out to others. This is your current, shall we say, challenge, to step away from your own presence of the here and the now of the being and doing. Although the being and doing is important, because while you're being, you are doing, and it is in the activity and the action where you get to shine your light. So it's a little bit of a puzzle piece to be fit together in its circle of life. Find your diamond star within. Find it within your heart. Find it within your chakras. Find it outside of your body. Your diamond star is there. One of the presences that, I should say presents, plural, that we had provided to Wendy was while she was on Mount Shasta, and she has already discerned this information, but we are sharing it with you. While she was in meditation, she was trying to connect and wanted to see in her mind's eye, with her eyes closed, images. She wanted to connect in with beings, maybe connect in with some ascended masters, which she's already connecting to, so it's not really a big to-do for her. However, she doesn't necessarily always see these images because she is afraid. She is afraid from many lifetimes of having been silenced, of having been murdered, of having been dissected and sliced apart and all kinds of torturous things. She speaks about this in many of her videos, and I speak about this to let you know that we are all connected and we are aware of her life stories, and we have been a part of her life stories and are part of her life stories, as we are all one. And as we move along further and further to the ascension, you're going to find and discover that you recognize where you have been aspects of many other lives and the many lives you already know about. Connecting in with the various archangels and galactic beings that you have access to, finding that DNA within your own soul, within your soul families, within your soul groups. And as you start to get more and more information, as you start to get into these higher vibrations, similar to what they were at in Shasta, they are spreading the word, shall we say, picking up the codes and then taking them out and putting them into the world. So you will sense, if you are around any of these beings that have been in Mount Shasta doing this healing work and clearing, they are earlier Lemurian sisters from the sisterhood, and so as well as many other lives, and know that their higher selves are a variety of different beings, some of them dragon, elemental, fairies, galactics, archangels, etc. So as these various beings are now coming together, we are working, the people, the human beings currently on Earth in their own power, as they're stepping up to their power, are doing the healing work. of all these karmic life, past lives, clearing them, freeing them, releasing them, and doing that energy exchange, that transmutation of the energy, the quantum of moving it from this side to that side and giving it a good scrub down in between. So these are all things that are currently occurring. These energies are just beautiful and perfect. There's going to be some fun, as my buddy Bashar would say. There's going to be some fun times coming up to have you in your excitement. Aren't you excited? You should be excited. So if you're not finding yourself in your joy, I say find your light within, begin to shine it out, and your joy will also start to beam out. I have come with the intention of the ability to do a blessing, to do light language, and to share through this channel. So I am open to any questions that you may have at this time. And I thank you for letting me ramble on, shall we say, like a tumbleweed tossing in the wind. We're asking you to no longer toss in the wind as a tumbleweed. We are asking you to get trapped in a rock, get grounded by this rock, and find out who you truly are. You are not a tumbleweed.
Well, thank you for that beautiful message. I guess my question would be if you can give me any, I guess, information or advice about connecting to this new collective, at least new for me, named the Farok. And I'm getting that I will channel them soon, possibly today is the message I'm receiving, and that they're a combination of fire elemental and galactic energies, like fire type consciousness, like a collective consciousness, and that'll be like sparks of light, kind of like fireworks coming out of my crown chakra is what I've been told. So, or that it'll be in my auric field, this kind of fireworks energy, sparks of light that will illuminate me, but also illuminate others that receive the messages and connect with this energy as well. So if there's anything that you can provide, anything that comes up that will assist me with connecting with them, or what I can expect going forward with this new connection.
Yes. So the information that you need is this light that Wendy has been talking about coming out of her eyes that she saw in the vision while she was in Mount Shasta, eyes open, was seeing this prismatic, integrated, metaphysical grid lines, multidimensional, moving back and forth, the wave of the energy of this in its opalescent white rainbow gleaming light. And as she watched it change from the rectangular shape to the, as if she was looking at this light on a screen, watching different circles that look like donuts coming back and forth, as she was experiencing this, she also saw the screen then shrink together and then turn into the flame. This is the flame within her heart, within connecting in with the elementals as a creator being, because that's what she was doing on Shasta. But of course, she's galactic too. Shh, don't tell her. We laugh, she already knows. But this image, this light, they want you to focus on this in your mind's eye. You've had it described to you. She's tried to show you a couple of photos. It's like, oh, it's kind of like this. It's kind of like this, but just not as bright white. So when you imagine it in your mind's eye and in your heart, connect into that really brilliant, bright white light, imagining those opalescent rainbow colors, the sacred geometry flying and floating around back and forth in the background, connecting into your Metatron aspect, of course. And this will bring you into the steps that you need to take to begin to channel this collective. And yes, of course they're here. They've been waiting for you to take the steps and for me to give the advice.
Yeah, I feel that I'm ready to connect with them.
You are the light, not just of this earth plane, but of universes and galaxies and dimensions and multi-dimensional, infinite dimensional. Is your mind expanding now? You are no longer who you were a moment ago, a breath ago. You are who you are now in your expanded state.
Yes, I definitely feel expanded. And our connection here today has also helped with that. I mean, we're connecting our hearts, we're connecting in joy and love and expanding our light and just being who we are. And yeah, without letting the mind get in the way.
Beautiful.
Our monkey minds, as some call it.
Yes, that does happen to many. We are assisting. We are doing our best to bring this world into the capability of stepping into their power, into their true knowing of who they are as their beings within their own DNA, shall we say. But the DNA is not just the DNA within your body, as you are so trained, shall we use that word, educated, trained to do, to understand. Your DNA is also in the etheric. And when you understand this quantum, then this helps to understand or explain the quantum healing that is available to those who are ready and open to accept it, similar to the work that Wendy does, working with quantum energies as a quantum healer, moving people to their best, healthiest spot, to taking people to and placing them on a new timeline, most with no realization. And oftentimes she just does it without thinking about it because it's such a natural state for her. And this is entirely acceptable because that's who she is as a creator being. She, of course, has access to all beings and connects in with her creator family and with source as well, of course. And so the understanding and expansion, as you allow these knowings, these understandings with your mind, help you also to expand to your next state, to your next level of awareness. And as that occurs, the understanding of why did this happen, and then almost immediately behind, the understanding of why it happened and what was the reason behind it. So those times where you're feeling the pains in your heart, this is something that we've been experiencing in Shasta, and since we've gotten home, like literally somebody stabbing you with a knife in your heart, that they are many times of lifetimes where you have been stabbed in the heart, and you're cleansing, releasing, and clearing them. And as you open yourself up to more love, then that energy can move and transmute through your being, through your body, and release and turn into a new, brighter love and light as you're moving up into the higher frequencies. So the same thing with conversations where you go, oh, that doesn't resonate with me. That, feels a lower frequency. Well, that's because you're from, and recognizing that you do want to bless your water. You want to bless your community's waters. You want to have these ceremonies that are bringing light back to the element beings that are on this earth that you are protectors of. Those of you who have dragons as guides, those of you who remember their lives as dragons or dragon priests or priestesses, you are the dragon. You are the dragon, you are the light, you are the mountain, you are the snow, you are the crystal, you are the table, you are your cat, your dog, your hamster, your mouse, your rat, your spider. You are the dragonfly, you are the bee. So we talk about the oneness, but oftentimes it gets trapped in the thought of the oneness of the human being, of the oneness. We are moving now to the further expansion of that, to the oneness of the light. So you will continue to see things like auras and rainbows behind bees. This message is for Wendy. And you will continue to see things like people from their past lives who are dressed completely different than how they were dressed when you realized that the 3D self was a completely different image. These things will happen. They will continue to happen, and they will expand. Continue to be in your gratefulness and in your thanks for connecting into the all that is. And more of these understandings will open themselves up to you as they are so fully developing at this time. Switch gears. Are there any other questions?
Joan, do you have a question? Or Julianne, I should say.
She does go by both.
Yeah. So how can we shift to the timeline?
So Wendy learned this little trick, and she did share it with you earlier, but I'm going to share it with all who watch these videos. You'll have this understanding. Now, this teaching did come from a gentleman by the name of Jean Eng, who works with the Arcturians, who Wendy does as well. She's on the Arcturian Healing Council. And so she feels that strong connection with him. And when he talks about something that he's going to gift to people, she knows that she already is able to do this. And so she has just begun doing it. So one of the things that he advises is that you can raise your hand up into the sky. And as you have your hand raised up into the sky, ask for your light team's help. Ask for quantum assistance. Ask to be placed into the highest and best timeline. To release anything, if you're feeling a low energy, to release that timeline where that low energy resides and step into the higher timeline, that incident or that negative conversation. Perhaps you're fighting with your parents or your siblings or your friends, and you're having a discussion, and it's, how shall we say, not really like the best feeling. Maybe there's hurt words being said. So you raise up your hand and then you ask for help to be on my best and highest timeline, and then you wait. Just like when you would raise your hand in school, hold your hand up high, hold your hand up high. And then when they put you to the highest and best timeline, your arm will drop. And then you'll just know that you're in the higher timeline, the better dimensional timeline for you, for your path, for your work, for your mission.
Beautiful. That's good. So I can change it into different parallel realities and different
Yes.
parallel.
Multi-dimensional. You just step into your other plane, your other dimension that you prefer. Aren't we always being taught by many of the teachers out there? You have listened to Dolores Cannon and Abraham for years. Bashar is currently giving many, many teachings that Wendy is just now catching up on. Source comes through, Sophia comes through, many dragons, Gaia. There are many channeling these messages. To be in your highest joy. To give yourself, to quote from your trip, the permission slip. It's your choice. There are no wrong answers. You are the creators. You get to make and choose what you want. While you're in this life, you have free will to make those choices. Do you want to? Perhaps. It may be exciting for you. To use Bashar's terminology.
So we can use those permission slip for anything we want to, like example, like we did in Mount Shasta.
Yes.
To heal the land is any tools that we think of,
Whatever
then
tool you decide, you can pick up your rubber band from your hair and decide that that's the tool, and you're going to pull on the elastic, and as you pull on the elastic, the energy will be joined within the elastic, and when you break it, it will be released. Whatever tool you want to use. If you want to use crystal, if you want to use light language, if you want to use drums or rattles or decorative gear, be it jewelry, bracelets, the outfit you wear, the way you put your hair, anything. It's your intention. It's your heart's intention, because you're connecting to the soul. So yes, you are correct. And you already knew that.
I have another question. How can we handle to those people who are in those old energies,
To let
and
them know
we are judging us
that they,
about
yes,
the new energies?
to let them know that it's okay. It's okay to be who they are and where they are on their journey. That's their journey. You're not responsible for anyone but you. So when you are you in your highest vibration, those energies will be easily dusted off. They don't need to be held within the heart. And those of you who are working on your higher frequencies are already working on your heart healing, aren't you? On letting go of the pains of this life, the pains of past life, the exchange of fractals from other lives where you may have come and played the same game multiple lifetimes, the same life multiple lifetimes, and from a different angle. Last time I stayed in that marriage, in that dimension, in that plane, in that story. This time I'm not staying in the marriage, in this lifetime, in this dimension, in this story. And last time we switched roles. I was him and she was me. And this time I want to be the child and you want to be the parent. And so this is the soul game that you play with one another. You make your contracts and you come in and you take on different roles to experience it within the being of the physical. But we are moving away from a lot of the physical and moving into the ascension. And so many of us, yes, we love the physical, we'll have memory of it, but it will definitely be a change. You're going to be coming more toward me, toward the light.
Yeah, so we can hold them in with the compassion. Okay, well,
yes. So,
thank you.
But at the same time, may it be fun to play the game, to have them question their own beliefs? Yes, you'll find your guide teams will assist you with that. Just ask, help me be in my heart space. Or people trying to push through. Wait, stay back. My turn still. Connect it and ask with your heart space first. How do I want to respond to this question? How do I want to answer what's triggering me? Because I'm still clearing too, so that it will be the best answer. So when you take a breath, connect into who you are is all that is, it'll be easier to provide a better guidance, shall we say. Will it escalate on some occasions? Yes, but isn't it exciting?
I loved it. It's exciting. It's a big challenge sometimes, but it's good. It's good that you get the challenge and then you had the growth, the learning. It's a lesson. I guess that's what I was looking for, the growth after the lesson.
Yes. And even in the midst of it, in the midst of the response, you are no longer who you were. You are the next you. Take a breath. You're no longer who you are. You're the next you. Take a breath. You're no longer who you are. You're the next you. We think we're funny.
Well, thank you for the message. And Susan, you have questions?
Beautiful. How's Wendy doing? Is she still holding up, or?
She is managing, but yes, holding this large energy can be a little physically tiring on the body. Normally she would be able to hold this energy with no issues. But again, being in the mindset of, oh, I just came back from Mount Shasta and I'm still tired. So her ego is over here going, hey, you're still a little tired, aren't you? Are we done? So I send love to her ego.
Yes. I mean,
so
if you would like to, end with a final message for us about, anything regarding our future adventures together, our future travels together next year, hopefully to Ireland, and that all travel restrictions will fade away and disappear before that time. And that,
yes, just raise that your hand for that timeline.
Yes.
You will be there.
Yes, exactly. Continue to set our intentions, for a limitless, miraculous, blessed, beautiful experience in our travels in the coming year, and with any light work that we're doing. But if you would like to close with a final blessing, that would be wonderful and much appreciated. Thank you.
Yes, I will do that. That's better. You already are on your path. Both of you know this. The ideas and messages are already coming to you. You're hearing them. You're hearing your guides. I do not need to tell you this path. It's just up to you now to pick if you want the bigger size chocolate or the smaller size chocolate, the dark chocolate or the white chocolate, the chocolate with the filling or the chocolate with the sprinkles, the chocolate with the nuts or no chocolate in a gummy. So continue on your path. You are loved. And as you know, we are here with you. All of us. All of us. You are loved. Feel the heat. My blessings and love to you be in your heart. And I step away. Wow. I can just feel that sense of humor, just like how Lord Katumi was coming through with like kind of a little bit of sassiness, like I could like sense like he was holding back, like he had more, but he was like holding back, but still gave a little. And then I was seeing like a golden light like coming in like this, and so I could see the sprinkles on the outside of like my like with my eyes closed, like in the peripheral vision, and then it like came as a ball, and then I could just see streams of light, like just streams of light everywhere. That was that was very cool. And then it just softened up and just was like, okay, you don't need to be looking at all this. Like, just like, here, get your messages. So, so yeah, but yeah, I got real thirsty. Heat all up and down my back. I don't know. And then my fingers, when I was channeling, my fingers were like they were being held up, but not being held up. But there were like streams coming out of each of like my fingertips and my palms, like streams. Like, it's interesting. It's always interesting, like the sensations.
Now my crown is like it's something like somebody touching my crown. Like going, my hair is like going up.